Bitcoin is pumping nicely, but we're facing some serious resistance. I'll show you guys what we need to clear and what the price target will be if we can clear this resistance, and what happens if we get rejected. Let's get right into the analysis. For checking out the channel. Every day we put out a new video about cryptocurrency education, markets, giveaways, and more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any content. Now let's go to the moon. Start on the weekly chart. If you saw the last few Bitcoin videos about the large ascending triangle on the monthly, that pattern's still in play. And if you saw the video about the 4 and 9 moving average, which has honestly given us awesome buying opportunities. So right here was a golden cross, right here was another one, and we're about to get another golden cross in the next 3 days if Bitcoin can hold its price. So let's get right into the resistance that we're facing right now. So you can see on the weekly, we were getting rejected by the 50 EMA. You saw how it was awesome support right here. And now we actually broke down and we have been getting rejected. So you can see here, here, here. This was an ugly candle. This was an ugly candle as well. Pretty much here. And now we're trying to break through. So the weekly candle hasn't finished. It can finish and close however, and it can, that's why you never want to jump into a trade, because this at one point was looking like a super powerful candle. And at one point it could have looked like it was breaking the moving average. So this could actually look uglier in the next 3 days. We need to see a clear break and then a candle post above, and in my opinion close above as well. I know some people who wait for 2 closes above a trend line for the confirmed break so they don't get whipsawed, but it depends on your strategy. So that's the first huge resistance we're looking at. If I go down into the daily chart as well, we're just going to skip the 2-day, 3-day, 4-day, but you can see here. So let me remove this, and you can see that right here we're also facing the, what was this, the 200 EMA on the daily, and this would be pretty bullish if we could break right above here. This is a huge zone where we're playing out this ascending triangle right here, creating higher lows while bashing into this upper trend line, this upper resistance, which was previously a lower high. So once we break this, this is a confirmed trend reversal in my opinion, as we had a huge downtrend which consisted of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is the lower high that we're trying to invalidate, and then lower low. We're playing out this ascending triangle, which if we can break out to the upside, and my target would be $53,000, and that would convert and turn us from this downtrend into an uptrend, and hopefully we make our way into all-time highs with this completion of this ascending triangle. So we have some huge, as you can see, huge resistance here. The weekly EMA, the daily EMA, we have this huge trend line right here from the previous lower high, and all the previous times we attempted to break this and we couldn't. If we break this, so I'm going to use my fib here. I was looking at 2 points for my target right here. If I take it from point A to point B, you can see that lines up with this area right here, which is kind of the same area we're stuck in if you actually take a look, which is the bottom of this lower high. So you can see this is the low, one of the lower highs as well. So low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high right here. So just remember this point. So I'll actually put a trend line right there. So this is kind of my next target, the 52 to 54K range. And also when you're measuring ascending triangles, you could take it from the base. So we can use this or this, to be honest. I'm not sure if this would qualify as the base, but we could just do like usually you just take the price, so 34K to 44K, let's just say $12,000. So the break 56K. I mean, anybody correct me if I'm wrong. So 52,000 would be the minimum and 56K would be the high, but kind of this zone, because I would be looking for us to invalidate and or just get rejected from this previous lower high as well. And this is a huge area of support and resistance in my opinion as well. If you take a look, we got rejected, we bounced off here, we got rejected here. You can see bounce, rejection, and so on. So that would be my next target. That's best case scenario if Bitcoin can break to the upside, or you know what? We just break right here and then we use this as support and then keep going up. That would be best case scenario. But if we actually break to the downside and we give the gains back to the market, I wouldn't want to see us break past this point right here. I wouldn't want to drop, and specifically just under here. I wouldn't want to, that's a horrible line. I wouldn't want to drop under this, about the 40,008K, because we're just looking at the structure, and you have, the pullback into the moving average, awesome support, and then we're moving in to make a higher high. So are we going to get rejected here? You can see that the RSI as well is kind of weakening. We're not, seeing any real push to the upside. We're not seeing this, top being broken. So we could see a fail in breaking this resistance. And anything under this, I would maybe, we just gave back a pretty decent pump. What was this, like 5% or something like that? Okay, about 8%. And let's go over some on-chain analysis. I wanted to go over the fear and greed index as well. 47, last week we saw 25, extreme fear. The sentiment in the market really changes if we go over some bullish news. Do Kwon from Terra Luna, they're putting up $10 billion. They're buying $10 billion worth of Bitcoin for their UST reserves. That's bullish, regardless if you don't like UST or you think Terra Luna is a scam or whatever. Anybody buying $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, that's just a ton of buy pressure. This was released, I think, 33 minutes ago, as you guys can see. Russia is considering selling its oil and gas for Bitcoin as sanctions intensify from the West. Russia might accept Bitcoin as payment for its oil and gas exports as Western countries stiffen sanctions. In a videotaped news conference on Thursday, the chair of Russia's Duma Committee on Energy said in translated remarks that it will come to friendly countries such as China or Turkey. Russia is willing to be more flexible with its payment. And you saw Exxon as well. They are actually doing a Bitcoin pilot, gas to Bitcoin pilot to 4 countries. They are mining some Bitcoin. So you can see right here, there is excess natural gas that would otherwise be burned off from the North Dakota oil wells to power cryptocurrency mining operations, and it's considering doing the same at other sites around the globe, according to people familiar with the matter. So, everybody is just getting involved. We have these large corporations. We have, what's just happening with Russia and Ukraine. That's a whole issue in itself. All this money piling into Bitcoin. And I just think we've been in a slump for way too long. You don't want to FOMO in. And this is from Willy Woo, one of the best on-chain analysts. I think this is his last letter, so I'm going to share this with you guys. Below is a new signal I've been working on, Willy Woo, and it's an algorithm that searches out zones where inexperienced investors, based on the length of time they have held coins, sell out at losses in a region where market demand is strong based on price action. In effect, it looks for market accumulation by smart money, which are typical zones for market bottom. We are in such zones right now. So you can see right here, we're in a so-called bottom zone, as he calls it, and you can see how it's really pumped up the price in previous times. So I would note it's relatively reliable signal. Here's the backtrace going back 12 years, which is just insane. Below, right here, in particular, the large spikes highlight market capitulations at the end of macro bear markets. We are now in what looks like a mini cycle of shorter duration and smaller drawdowns. So you can see the longer Bitcoin operates, the less volatile the bear markets would be, in a sense, and I think the less harsh and less in terms of length. They're not going to be drawn out for 3 years, hopefully, like we've seen previously. And going back to basic demand and supply, and it's just like, look at this, it's evident. Look at this huge spike in 2012. This one actually was pretty big as well, but they're just relatively getting smaller and smaller. Going back to the basic demand and supply, we can also see macro bottoms forming on the long-term futures market in the oscillator view below. And here's the calendar futures basis oscillator, and you can see this was the larger pullback as well that we had in the bull market last year, and kind of a similar pattern right here. We saw a huge, this was just an explosion in price, so I'm hoping we get something similar and we just explode back to all-time highs, and potentially move to create new all-time highs. And this is the same from a cyclical view of holder demand in the chart below, and you can see that we're about or have bottomed right here, and you can see how well this oscillator has worked previously. Right here, this was huge, and now we're getting the same signal. So it looks like Willy Woo is thinking the bottom is in or near, and he's seeing a lot of evidence on chain. So I'm really hoping we could break this resistance right here and then start making our way to the $54,000 region, and then kind of decide what we're going to do there. If we kind of start getting, toppy right here, we break down, we start seeing some bearish candles, then I think we might be going to test the 42K, maybe even the 40K region, but I don't want to lose this right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.